All right, we on? All right, let me bring in this idea. We're back with the Big Kev McCaff. I hate Big Kev, but I'm sure you get it all the time.
I don't get it as much as maybe you think. but I'll take it. I don't think it's bad.
All right.
You're like, everyone's calling you Big Kev.
I'm an above average size Kev.
Yeah. You think the world is operating like you is hilarious. Yeah, you have to get Big Kev all the time because that's the most fun thing in the world to say.
Well, in my head, I'm thinking the world operates like me 20% less, like 20%. And if I'm doing it 100 times, he's got to be getting it like, 20 times a day.
Right.
Sure. But I've said it already
like
50 times in my head.
Yeah. I'll take it. Thank you.
Let me bring this first one out here. Let me open it up with this idea, which we talked about last week, which is smaller claims hitmen.
Yes.
Now, I don't want to hire a hitman, but I want to start a business where I go, hey, do you hate your boss? You pay me $50. I'll walk to your boss. He won't know. You guys out of work? I fucking slap him in the face. You know what I mean? And I just look at his face and I go, fucking be nicer to all of your employees.
There actually is a guy. Sorry, go ahead.
You got
I
energy,
just didn't
Kev.
realize you wanted to be that explicit about it. With like, you kind of want it to be like, it looked like an accident. It looked like a random.
Oh, so many different services. We have pie in the face.
You can select
slap.
direct. You could select like a direct communication of like, be nicer to your employees, but you could also select. Make it look like some guy is just treating him like a piece of shit.
I just want, I just want him to get what I did. Reverse, like, just go there and annoy him the way he annoys me. But then there's also, I want this guy to just be in pain.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need to know it's from me.
And this doesn't have to just be bosses.
Anybody.
Yeah, but I like that you're punching up with it, though. That's nice.
Yeah.
Go with the bosses.
Well, there should be a law. We don't punch down.
Yeah,
in the job. We're not going to give people less than
a
you.
hitman's code. You know what I mean? They're still like no women and children, whatever it is. They're still abiding by a hitman's code.
Yeah,
we'd have to form a rule. It's like, okay, maybe it just can't be assault because we can't have assault in the town.
You can slash a tire.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you could
inconvenience,
Yeah, you could inconvenience people. You could be rude to them. You could fuck up their shit, but you're not slapping someone across the face necessarily.
Yeah, but
that's an extra tier.
I like that you brought up.
Or you're liable for whatever their actions are.
Yes.
Maybe what I mean?
That's like being a hitman, where it's like you murder someone and it's like you're going to jail for murder if you get caught.
Yeah.
No, but I mean
As
the
is
person,
the hirer.
the hiree.
Yes.
Yeah. You're getting the same sentence. So whatever they do, if they're charged for that, you're doing the same amount of time. So there's jeopardy.
So two things I'd like to add here.
Please.
Wait.
One, oh yeah, sorry.
Pie in the face, I like because it's an old Hollywood classic, obviously,
I love
an
it.
old Johnny Carson move. But have you ever seen someone get a pie in the face in person? But if you did, you would be like, "What a piece of shit!"
Yes.
What did he do to get a pie in the face?
And also that fucks up your whole day unless you go home and take a shower to wash your
so
hair.
demeaning.
It'll be all over everything. Imagine you're on your way to a meeting.
Yeah.
Pie in the face.
So pie in the face and stink bombs. You can stink bomb someone. Whoa. So if you're because then they're going the whole day and they got to smell like shit.
Yeah, that's
maybe next time you hold the door for somebody. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And you get a pie. I'm gonna go back to the two of these and just park for 1 second.
Yeah,
pie in the face too. Man, for the people that love pie, I'd be furious. You know what I mean?
Wasting pie.
Waste of a pie. So one less pie in the world that I could eat, get my hands on.
Well, they're mostly just whipped cream and crust.
Yeah, it's not
which is my
hot
ideal pie.
berries.
It's not a full.
What do you think I want out of a pie? I just want the cream part and the crumbly part.
Very good point.
Something that makes people angry about me. I've never eaten pie. I've never had a pie in my life, and when I say it, people get genuinely mad, and then they try to force it on me. I've been at workplaces where people bake me a pie and bring it and be like, "Now eat it." A pizza
pie
a pizza. Yes.
Pizza pie is not
that's
a pie
where
in
you
the
start.
face food. That's
No.
Pizza
hot
or
cheese.
Yeah. No, I'm saying he's never had a pie. Well, Ferno, I like the guy you just scalding pizza on a guy's face.
But
Second
it's a
degree
pizza
burns.
pie. Have you ever met a sweetie pie? It's just like hey, we can put the word pie after a lot of stuff.
But that's how I start you. I go, well, you
Fair
had
enough.
pizza pie.
Yes.
Let me add one ingredient. Let me give them a cinnamon pizza pie. Which is like
Not a
bread,
thing.
no cheese, no
Yeah.
sauce. They do a dessert pie.
A dessert pie
Pizzeria,
pizza.
no?
I got
Oh, yeah,
Pizzeria,
yeah.
or a
Sure.
cookie pie, and then we just keep adding ingredients until we slowly get you there.
And my counter is, you know what I mean.
I'm not sure if you're
Your
following
counter-
what I'm
my
saying.
counter is,
No,
come
I
on,
think
dog.
I am because I've had this done to me so many times. Where people but usually they're not as creative as you. Usually they're like, a pecan pie? And I'm like, of course I haven't had a pecan pie. What the fuck do you think I'm talking about?
Right.
When
You're
I
like,
say
I know what pie
Yes,
is.
I
Yeah,
know.
no,
You
that's
don't
not
have
what
to.
I'm saying.
I'm hitting the big pies, you lunatic.
I'm not trying to prove you've had pie.
Yeah.
I'm trying to slowly turn the water up to get you to have a pie
Not gonna happen.
without the giant leap.
Yes.
You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
I'm not making that
Is
jump.
it,
Whoa, what are your stages for doing this?
Well, as I said, I bring them to a pizza place. You have a slice of pizza. Then I go, hey, for dessert, we're going to have the dessert pizza, right? And then I go, hey, for double dessert, throw a little apple filling on top of that thing, right? And right before he eats it, I throw another piece of, crust on it. But it's in his mouth. And
Yes. The problem is I'm older than 6, and that wouldn't trick me.
No, not to trick you.
Yes.
But if I go, hey, do you like this? Do you want more? And you want me to up it? I don't want
Sure.
to defy you. I don't want to. I don't
Yes.
want to make you do a thing you don't want
I
to do.
appreciate that. That's respectful.
I want to respect what you're doing
Yeah.
and say, hey, maybe we go together.
Yeah.
Maybe we go on the deep end together. And you stop when you feel uncomfortable.
I have a question for you, but I also, this should be a thing for people who are overly picky about food but don't want to be.
Yes.
You hire, you're kind of I
was going to say
like
doula.
a personal trainer.
Yeah, personal trainers.
You're
probably
an eating
closer.
personal trainer.
Yeah.
I also want to say, what is it about pie that turns you
That
off?
was my question.
The gloop.
I'm not a
gloop.
gloop
The
fan.
gloop in the middle. The
see what you're
smushy, it's the texture.
Yeah, wet
Also never
fruit.
had pudding. That's a cousin of this, That's
That's where we
it's-
differ.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
if that turns you off, then I'm sure there are pies that don't have gloop, but that you're not counting those.
yeah, I
Like a
don't even-
frozen pie. We just give it to you frozen.
I mean,
You
that's,
said a frozen pie as if it's a thing in this world.
yeah,
And
people
then-
always like that's interesting, I suppose, because it doesn't exist. It's like, do you just mean ice cream in that case? Like, I
Yeah,
guess,
ice cream pie, which I'll be honest, we haven't seen, but I think
Yeah.
it's because it's a physical impossibility.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so
ice cream
you're
pie.
battling
Gotten there.
physics.
It's a frozen pie. But yeah, we've just gotten full loop there. And I also want to get back to low rent hitman because there's still so
Yeah,
much
no,
more
there's so much meat on that bone.
Yes.
Okay, that was my other question for you. Was what is it about it? But
Yeah,
it's
it's the-
I was like, is it crust or gloop?
It's
I'm
the middle.
I'm pretty neutral to uninterested in gloop.
I would agree. I'm same.
Depends on the gloop.
There's certain ones that I'm like, this is a pretty good gloop, but like,
Yeah.
I don't really like apple pie. I don't like
Yeah.
the berry pies.
Nope.
Yeah.
I'm a sweet pie guy.
I'm a custard pie.
I'm a custard pie. I'm
You're
a
a
pecan.
meat pie guy. We've been to the Australian pie place and you loved it.
I love a meat pie.
oh, I love a savory
Yeah,
pie.
I do that.
I
Chicken
don't
pot
even-
pie,
Of
yes.
course, yeah.
Because you said you're a sweet pie guy. I immediately had to call you out and say you also like a meat pie.
well,
That's not what I was saying, though.
All right, I cut you off.
She was.
because I cut
That's
you
fine.
off.
You jumped all over that.
you're I hate to say it, a cream pie guy.
Yeah, you never had a cream pie, McCaff.
We'll talk- I can't. Big Kev. The headline reads: Big Kev never has cream pie.
Big Kev the milkman never
Big
has
Kev the
cream
Milkman.
pie.
And that rewards people watch this serially.
It would be great if he goes, hey man, he goes, you ever have pie? He goes, well, someone came in my ass before. If that's what you mean.
Of course, I'm from America. I'm a grown up, but I mean, like, not, yeah.
Yeah.
I was in San Francisco in the '90s, of course.
Now you're not a sweet pie man. You
What
are a
I
sweet
mean
pie
by
man.
that, not a fruit pie. I like a caramel. I like your traditional sweets.
I like a banana cream. I
Yep.
like a key lime.
Vanilla
I like a,
custard,
a
coconut.
chocolate vanilla.
Totally.
Coconut
These
cream.
are all great for hitmen to throw at people.
Right.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
low rent
I think that's
because
what I
they're
like.
the
I like a
gloop you
pie
need.
that could become violent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little extra smush.
Low stakes
Oh,
violence.
Yeah, you never
Yeah.
see a pie and someone's wiping raspberries off their eyes. That's not your classic
No.
throw a pie at
All these
somebody.
pecans in my hair.
Yeah,
If they're real
picking
bad,
out-
we throw a cream pie at you. A cream pie. That's a cum pie. How big of a CEI are you? You're a bad CEO. We cum pie you.
yeah.
CEO gets a cum pie.
CEOs
Yeah,
always
sure.
get cum pies.
Yeah. And
they
I like
pay
the
for
hitman
it,
walks
I
away and he
think.
goes, and yeah, that's cum.
So, like, I think I told you this. I was at a fucking down the shore, and I needed medicine, and my doctor was like, "You call it in, they'll give you a couple pills, but it's at the whatever, the pharmacist's whatever." She was such a fucking asshole to me. Wouldn't give me my Wellbutrin.
The pharmacist
whatever.
was?
Yeah, and then I pranked her. I told you I pranked her for like 3 hours as Romano and whatever.
Man, these people might not know about
I don't think I was on that phone call.
hilarious parts of this story that you're just
Glossing over.
I
Yeah,
thought I
just
talked on
talk
the
to them
pod.
about this.
I don't think you did this on the pod. It doesn't sound familiar to me.
Oh, all right.
You might
So-
have talked to Anthony on the phone, which
Also,
is
keep in mind
almost
you,
the pod.
Yeah, you've done 1,000 phone calls and a 1,000 podcasts, so just do it
blending.
again, man.
So I did. I had to get I was in Atlantic City and I needed meds.
Sure.
I forgot my meds, and my doctor was like, "You can just call them. CVS will give you a couple to get through. You pay like a little bit of money." And I was like, "Okay." So I called them, and the lady was such a fucking asshole. "No, we don't just give out pills here," and was like just going off. And then she was like, "I don't know what you people come down here." She heard my New York accent, and Liddy was like, "We don't just,
Jesus,
we
we're
don't
picking
just."
nits in Atlantic City a little bit.
Yeah.
The accent. Yeah.
She was like, well, I think technically she may have been like, she was very close to, I don't know, whatever.
Philly.
Sure.
They're close to
Philly.
Philly.
Yeah.
But they look at the North as like,
Yeah.
it's a
North
it's a
Jersey
fracture.
is a different
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, they're like those upper crust Giants
Right.
fans. It's elitist Jets fans.
Yeah.
We're just it's like, there ain't enough meatballs on my egg and cheese.
Yeah. So this lady was such a fucking asshole to be so outright mean, rude, insulting to me that I was like, all right, I got to go there. Right. But then I kept like, play it through. If I go there, how does this end? It ends in me yelling at her, then me throwing something at her, ripping the register, jail,
Right.
jail,
Sure.
jail. I don't do something. I turn
For
around.
like one Wellbutrin.
The guy behind me goes, "Hey man, stop yelling at that lady." Now I fight him. Now I go to jail, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I just pranked her for like 3 hours as Bernie Mac and then Ray Romano, just continually
sounds-
calling them
On
back
the phone?
on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just kept calling.
That
them
just
back.
sounds like a pleasant way to spend an afternoon.
It was very
from
fun.
her perspective. It's
Great.
like Bernie Mac's calling. This is fun.
Yeah.
You
Is
know?
that Ray Romano?
So then my thing was, I would love to just pay somebody to go and just annoy her at work.
Yes.
Every day
Absolutely.
to bring it back to what she did to me that day.
There are times when making someone's day worse is all you need.
Yeah.
You know, where
that
it's
gets
like,
you back. You're like, all right, I'm over it.
yeah,
Yep.
that
Yep.
was unpleasant for me too, but I took them down a little bit, and that's what I care most about right now.
Yeah. So if you can't expel that energy, you're too busy to do that. You hire the small claims hitman. Now, they kind of want the evidence, so you want film. You want it to be on film, so you get the satisfaction of seeing the revenge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's two things we have to add about this.
Okay.
One, if we allow them, we can't make illegal things legal, right?
No.
So they probably can't hit someone. So we have to find a law that we could kind of be like, okay, in this circumstance, it's legal, and how far are we willing to go? Like I don't want to trash their car because that's illegal. So how would we stay within the law and also?
But like, if you saran wrapped their doors closed, doesn't destroy the car, would be annoying.
Right.
Yeah, it fucks your day.
Yeah.
And that's nice.
And that's really what you're looking for. Like, I think there's like all these things that like, sure, there's like certain vandalism laws in the real world of like, toilet papering somebody's house is technically illegal, I believe.
Right.
But like, I don't think,
Can you go in? They're doing laundry. Can you go into the dryer and just take several socks?
Right.
You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yes,
Right.
yes.
I mean, I guess that's stealing, but if you hide them, is that stealing? And then they never get them, but you don't have them.
Well, you hide them. Yes, you hide them in their house.
There you go.
So and they were left.
And they
Yes.
can't. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to like, if you keep calling them all day, it's harassment. But what if you legitimately have 100 questions to ask them?
You're the perfect hitman for this.
I think,
homework, yeah.
finding loopholes in things that will ruin someone's day, but not like cause irreparable damage of any kind.
You still need the
Like-
moral high ground.
Yes.
Because you can't be the assholest of the assholes in this situation because that's bad.
Yeah.
But you go to their restaurant and you annoy their waiter so that they don't get their food in time. You know what I mean? Like you didn't really take their food. You just made the establishment they're
Yes.
at go crazy. And go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say too, man. You hire like teenagers that make fun of your outfit. You know what I mean? Like teenagers that just know how to cut you down
Yeah.
in such
Yeah.
a way that you're thinking about those things for the rest of the day. These would be great candidates for the smaller claims hitman.
Yeah.
And you're employing people.
Yeah,
Who
this
need,
is a
they need money
win-win.
for prom or whatever.
So yeah.
They always need money.
Yeah,
It's
teens
all
always need
fundraising.
money.
Who knows what they need, but they need money.
So this also came about
Which one of you teens needs money? Which teens need money?
Where's the-
I got a job for you.
I need the meanest teen that doesn't have cash.
I think one of the most aggressive things I've done in public in New York involved a teen. These teens were being dickheads on the train, and there was this tiny old Asian lady, and the kid threw a Snickers at her, and I went and picked up the Snickers and walked toward the teen and whipped it at him as hard as I
Nice.
could.
Wow.
And they
Whoa.
got off the train at the next thing. Because you don't throw Snickers at old people in front of me and get away with it.
Good for you.
You could have stink bombed him too.
I could have stink. I didn't have a stink bomb.
Well,
we're
you're
gonna
on the
carry
train.
stink bombs.
It's
My
just not a
issue with
time
the
you-
stink
No,
bomb
you gotta
is
whatever's there
you're
is
hitting
zero.
indiscriminate other
Yeah.
innocent people, and then those people are gonna go. I gotta hire a smaller
Yeah.
claims hitman for this hitman that stink bomb. It's gonna be
It
a
creates a
never
ripple effect.
endless. It's gonna create ripple.
But the
effect.
stink bomb should be a way that it doesn't smell like a stink bomb. It just makes the guy smell like he smells. So you hit him with a stink bomb, they go, that guy smells like shit.
I know. I just don't know that they make targeted stink bombs.
And I think like a stink bomb, like if somebody smells like say you get someone with a stink bomb that's targeted enough, and it's like, well, this guy smells like shit, and then he gets on the train with me, and I'm like, ew, something smells. It's probably that guy. We're still on the train, and I still have to smell
It's still
it.
over
Yeah.
you.
That's-
Yeah, the collateral damage is
I'm
tough
okay
here.
with that. It's like when protesters block entrances, we need to make things uncomfortable for normal people so they react to how shitty this guy was.
I'll tell you what, that twisted my morals into pretzel in a way that I deeply respect.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
that
the
was-
stakes
yeah.
are so different.
Yeah.
The stakes you can go. Yeah, I'm with this cause. You'd have to know. You don't know the backstory of your particular situation with this guy. You know.
But
what I
again,
mean?
And
you
I
don't
don't
know the
personally care. Like if I'm on the train and now I'm stuck with a bad smell because this guy said something to you
Right.
5 days ago. I'm like, why am I part of this?
Well, no, reality is, no, but
Yeah, that-
let's be real here. Let's be real. Because what's really happening now is this guy gets on the train. He smells. You don't go, that's a stink bomb. You just go, that guy smells. And then what do? You get away from him, or you deal with him for one stop and then you get off. And that is fucking this guy. It's a minor out of the way for you. For a major, that guy doesn't get to have normal people around him and everyone thinks he stinks. I'm okay with that damage because it's not ruining your day. You just smell like
I
he
think it
smells
also
a little bit.
depends on like the strength and kind of genre of the smell that we're talking
How
about.
often
here.
do you see someone who smells a day? You one or two. You're already dealing with them.
I'm
So just
around me all
one more.
day.
Right.
We're here now.
Yeah. I'm not kneeling on this stink bomb thing. I think it's real, and I think I might start doing it.
It would have to be minor enough that like it could be tolerated but not liked by the people around them.
Yeah.
Well, I
not
think-
like the kind of like there are smells where I'm like genuinely start to be like, I can't really smell that
Yeah, yeah,
without
yeah.
And now
throwing
your
up.
anxiety's going
And
up,
then you
and you
stress
feel
out
like,
and you're like, is that a chemical weapon?
don't want
Like,
that.
is someone dead
Is that
here?
a chemical weapon?
Yeah.
Technically, yes.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
well,
a
in this
chemical,
case
yes.
it is.
I think too. Well, the hitman, the smaller claims hitman you're hiring is professional enough to know I'm waiting for them to get in an elevator by themselves. Now I'm with
Yeah.
them. I'm letting off the stink bomb here, so
Oh,
they
man.
know enough not to get everybody else involved.
Yeah,
That's
you ever
part of
get-
their job.
Absolutely.
It's
You ever
professionalism.
get in a fart elevator and
Yeah.
it's just like, I'm fucked. This
Right.
is, I gotta, there's no way to tell people this wasn't me.
Quick aside,
Like, they're
that's
cleaning up
something-
afterward. They have a Febreze on them. The minute that
Yeah,
guy
they're-
leaves, they're doing stuff.
Yeah.
I want to say this as a Talktown aside, a quick aside. I want in elevators to be a tiny button you push which changes the light, which if you walk into an elevator and it already smells, you can hit that light so everyone knows it wasn't you.
Okay, I love it.
Yeah, that's,
love
But what is this?
it.
The honor system?
Right, yeah.
So you can just.
you could just fart and hit the light.
I'm in the light every time, just in case.
Just in case.
But
There-
that's okay.
Well, or is it like the mythical, that it's not real, but in pools when
Yes.
you pee, the color changes?
change
Have you
the
heard
ripple
about
or
that?
whatever.
Yeah.
Man.
Let's
It's
say
that,
you-
but for farts in an elevator.
Let's say you're the farter though. If you fart and you hit the button,
Yeah.
it's all of society going, like you feel bad you had a fart on accident. So you go, you know what, man, we're letting you go on this. The
Sure.
light, you're blaming it on someone else. That's okay.
I will say, like, our culture on, like, I don't want to be in a fart elevator, but I also, like, the older you get, the more you understand, like, how much our bodies, like, aren't under our control. Of
course.
Yeah,
and
100%.
how many things are medical. And, like, what. So it's like, I do think, like, if we could
Whenever,
recontextualize
Totally.
farting a little bit.
whenever
Yeah,
I see someone come on a plane, I go, it just happens.
Yeah, look, it'll happen
so
to me
sympathetic.
sometimes. dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
I don't want to be the pretentious guy talking about how good of a person I am, but I kind of am. The way I feel about farting is I'm okay with dealing with this smell if it makes you feel better. If you are not holding a fart, that's okay. I'll hold the bad smell in this elevator knowing that you just fucking,
Yes.
it sucked.
But if you're doing it intentionally to be like, like I farted, like
Yeah,
I
sure.
don't like that.
Sure.
I don't, but the way you did it, I'm like, I think I would like that person.
Yeah,
Somebody
that's
goes,
fun.
I
Yeah, I
farted.
guess that guy-
"Bleh."
Yeah,
I'd be
yeah,
like, that fucking rips.
Yeah,
you
man.
got me.
Yep.
That person rules.
That
Doing a
going-
skateboard trick generic bio.
Going back to last week's conversation about finding a friend. You want to find a friend for me? You do that. I'm like, man,
my
I'll meet you
best
back here in
friend.
a week.
Let me ask you something. We
Please.
just had that experience.
Yeah.
We were Anthony after in between his thing. He took us for massages because it was like Anthony treated his special taping like a
Someone
bachelor
treats
party.
Like,
they treat it like a bachelor
yeah.
party.
So
Well, I think that's what you have to do at this point because there's literally nothing else to grasp onto for joy.
So Anthony was taking his friend
Cause a party.
Connor, who did the set line. I kind of weaseled in on it. Anthony took me too.
You deserve it.
End of the massage, I was like,
Wait, when was this?
in between
Before the
your
shows.
special. Before there.
Anytime I do a big taping of sorts, I always get a massage before, like an hour before to loosen me up.
So we're on
So
set.
after all the construction was
Yes,
done,
after
Yeah.
we were done,
you guys went
a big-
where?
This is all so many questions. It's really going to kill the ending to the story. I'm so sorry.
It's a lot of fair
No, Limey
questions,
needs to
though.
know the logistics.
Sneaky massages in the midst of a very busy day.
Yeah, I was
is
like, I feel like
curious,
I
but yeah.
saw
Let's
you
save questions
guys
to the end. We should just save
the whole
questions to the
time.
end.
All right, save questions to the end.
Yeah,
Fine.
that's
No,
fine.
I mean, whatever. It's just
Go,
building
run
too
with
much.
it. Let's go. Keep the momentum going.
What are you talking about? This now you're pissing me off.
I don't know.
Oh
What's
my
the,
love it.
this ending
I
isn't
love
doing
it.
it for me anymore.
This what thing? Yeah. So yeah, we were all getting massages,
Yeah.
rough massages, and I go, well, there's only one. We all can hear each other, and I go, well, there's only one fun thing. The massage was over. I ripped the loudest one.
Laughed
I
so hard.
could hear. It's just, I was like, I want to know if 2 doors down, Anthony's gonna laugh.
Yeah.
And I heard I heard Anthony laugh. One, yep, and I heard, and I went, got him.
I mean, there's cultures where burping is polite to
Right.
show you've enjoyed the food, right?
I'm a nonstop. I can't stop.
God,
burping.
I
So
gotta
this
move
is
there.
it's kind of like that.
Yeah, where
This
is
is the
that?
first I'm hearing of this,
Yeah,
and I gotta get over there. Where I'll pay whatever taxes, whatever they got going on over there. Whoever they're throwing off rooftops, I'm living there.
I will just deal with whatever the fallout is from getting this benefit. I remember once
God.
Jared and I were in Nashville doing shows, and we were just walking around one morning, and I was just like burping a lot. He just stopped. He goes, "You burp so much." I'm like, from a man. I did it.
But I will say, going back to the farting in the elevator, not even so much that person, the blast skateboarder, Warped Tour kind
Yeah.
of guy. The person who doesn't hit the button, I'm intrigued by that human being.
You mean the
farts and
person
doesn't hit the button?
who
farts and
farts,
doesn't-
sits in his fart, doesn't hit the button. I'm like, that's
An
an
honest
interesting
man.
Who
person.
wears it?
Who wears it?
Yeah.
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 Because you now have the choice
Stand-up guy.
to hit the
Yeah.
button, and the person who doesn't, that's an honest person.
Yeah, you might want to marry that guy. You know, be like, I know I could trust this guy. He ain't gonna lie. He ain't lying in the
Yeah,
fart
it's not
elevator.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
I
If you
think
won't lie
there's
about a
something
fart,
to that.
you won't lie about anything.
So I just want to go real quick back to one thing and give you a little how this might actually work. There was a comedian who was way above me, who was a fucking asshole to me, and I was talking to the door guy at one of the comedy clubs I was at, and I was like, "How much you guys make?" And he was like, "I was like $150 a day," and I was like, "And you beat people up sometimes? You saw how they like drag people out, and sometimes they give one or two."
No, it gets physical.
And I was like, "What if I gave you $150 and you slapped that comic?" And he was like, "I 100% would do that." And I was like, "Oh my god, now I have that. I have
Gonna need
that
to know the name at the end.
just in
Yeah.
case." So I mean, I think that works with most bouncers. I think you could just go to any place as a bouncer, and go, "Hey, I'm gonna put money in an envelope. You smack that guy for me. No one knows nothing. No
I think
motive."
That's great.
Yeah.
I would think for them too, they'd be pretty excited. They're like, I don't have to break anybody's kneecaps.
Nope.
I don't want to.
Yeah, pretty simple.
Buzz. Wow.
You don't got to kill anybody.
Yeah.
And I bet it's fun for him too, because it's not like that guy probably was like, this was a super nice guy.
Yeah.
I was doing I was doing the Funny Bone in St. Louis, and I had 2 servers in the same night thank me for not being Rob Schneider, and they just literally after it was in the second it was like first show, and then the second night in between shows, they were like, I just want to say, one waitress said, I just want to thank you for not being Rob Schneider, who had like just been there, and I was like, yeah, no problem, that's very easy for me.
Pretty easy thing for you to
And then
accomplish.
another waitress was like, yes, thank you. And I
Yeah.
was like, well,
Wow.
that's, so I think they feel who's sucking at them
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think rarely is there going to be a disparity between how you feel about a bad person and how the staff also feels about
Yeah.
that person.
Man, I wonder too, like even for like the hitman, if you bring up a good point where they're like, I actually know that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They
Right.
probably just
So this is like
Friends and
man,
family discount.
Friends and family discount, man.
Yeah.
I would have loved to do this for free anyway.
Yeah.
And then they get to. So are you giving them a script in terms of a thing to say at the end of this?
Yeah,
Or
I feel like it would depend because there's like some things where I'd be like, I want
'Cause they
this
could trace
person
it
to
back then.
wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
But there's some
Right.
people I'd be like, a point needs to be made and it's specific.
Well, there's like, he's my boss. This can't get back to me. I just need to know this guy got smacked across the face for what he did.
Yeah.
And this needs to be, vengeance need to be served.
Right.
But I would argue, Lou, just real quick, is to make sure you're asking the bouncer at a place that isn't. So there is no motive and they can't trace that guy back to it.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So you want a
Yeah.
guy who just like out of nowhere gets smacked in the face. I do like the idea, though, him leaving a letter that just goes, "You've been served." Like,
The
Oh.
subpoena part of it is
Sir,
I think that
you've been justice served.
You've been, when then they go, fuck, who did I wrong? You know what I mean?
Right.
I think
Yeah.
that's actually, you want to give them a paper so they know they fucked up, but they
Right.
can't place where they did. So they are guessing about who it could be.
And I will say this: I'm so sorry. One thing, it's people. You could order it for other people. Like if I'm standing on a street corner and I see some guy screaming at a lady, I'm gonna be
Whoa.
like, "Hey, you know what?
Whoa.
I'm calling this on that guy." So it could be anybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Justice could be served by. You could be doing that as a philanthropist.
Right.
You're just going around paying people to slap other assholes.
Yes.
I think that's very nice.
It's a fun. That gives you a fun thing to do for the day. You got some money. You're like, let me go outside and I'll just wait for
slapping
somebody
in.
wronging somebody, and then on their behalf, I'm gonna buy them a slap
Yeah.
from me.
That's nice.
That's
Yeah.
a nice
Paying it
thing.
forward.
Yeah, like sending a drink across the bar to someone you appreciate.
Also,
Yes.
male and female, right? So if you're sitting at a dinner, you're at a dinner party, and your friend's wife starts screaming at him at the party, you can be like, "Hey, I'm calling 1-800-SLAP-A-HO," and you go, "What do I need?" I go, "I need a woman. I need her here right now."
I think it's just a line from a Ludacris song. By the way.
Yeah.
Come slap my friend's wife. You know what I mean?
Come slap my friend's wife.
I can't be connected. They can't be connected, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's keep it to men on men, women on women.
That's what I'm saying. You could to slap a hoe, you get a woman for the woman.
Yeah.
Trans, we got to figure that out.
Do we?
No,
Probably don't, but yeah.
We're not going to drill down that far.
because if you identify that you got the right wing being like they're hiring men who were women to slap women, we go for this trans. You guys can do whatever you want, but this we're going to keep it same height and same weight, same.
Yeah, we'll get into the deeper cut bylaws of it once we get the stage 1 beta
Yes.
is
Sure.
you know,
General. If you're getting slap, it's man, man, woman, woman. If you're doing pie, even for pie, I think is like the force level is. But if you're just doing verbal, that could be anybody.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
I can't imagine somebody getting slapped and then being like, "Wait a minute, what do you identify as?"
Right.
This goes against the
Okay,
bylaws.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple tiers. Like there's slap. My favorite is for $50, break their glasses. You know what? That's what I want you to
No,
do.
that's
That's
got to be
assault.
more.
Yeah.
Oh, to me, it's easy to break your glasses. Not yours, but like for
Bragging.
the guy, he's gonna get in less trouble for breaking glasses, but it's way better for the person whose glasses are broken because it's better for the vengeance server.
The person who ordered that hit is getting a lot because
Yes.
like that could be like I can get by without my glasses. It's like doable. I just have to close my left eye and that's fine.
I read the way through the day. Yeah.
But
You're like, I've been drunk before.
yeah, that's how I take pictures. But that will like severely disable some people from like living their. That would
I can't drive home.
They have to be pretty. They have to have done something equal to that.
I can't. You have to get an Uber. The way I would do, I'd be like, "Hey, excuse me."
Segment's brought to you by Uber. This is we'll send your blind asshole home.
I do like that it keeps going though. Then they get in the Uber, and then they're like, it kind of stinks in here.
you got
It's got
stinkers.
layers.
Keeps going.
Yeah. And I also like the idea that these people
It's like
get.
the game. With Michael Douglas.
One of the best movies.
Oh yeah.
I also like the idea that they do it the same way that people who serve papers. So it's like I'm in a mall, I dress up, I got a suit, I go, "Hey, your glasses, I have these glass cleaner. You've never seen them cleaner, right?" And they
Yeah.
go, "Well, try it." They give me glasses,
It's a
break them, and you go,
whole play.
"You got served."
Fun.
pal."
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
that guy just
I
runs
think
away.
justice was served. Is like a good. You said that
Yeah.
earlier, and I think that's a fun sentence
Yeah.
to say.
Justice has been served. Here's your receipt. Thank you. Just got to take a picture of you with the glasses for my records, so I did
Yep.
it. Goodbye. See you later.
But yeah, I guess there is a layer of like if I'm ordering this for the most part, like I'm gonna want to see it.
Yeah.
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 I
they
think
have to take a picture like an Amazon delivery.
Yeah. I think like an Amazon delivery.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
DoorDash.
Yeah,
and
man.
the guy asks you politely after he just slaps the shit out of you, like, I have to get a quick
Yeah.
shot
For my
here
boss. It's for
the
my
guy.
boss.
It's- yeah.
And then they go like, "Here's the picture, and obviously as a service, we will frame it for you."
Sure.
You know what I mean? For like whatever
Yeah,
the
Frame
price.
Bridge gets in the mix.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the roller
Olin
coaster.
Mills.
Just like the roller coaster ride. You know, it's like, "Hey, man, you could buy the picture for $50. I could show it to you, or you could buy it for $50."
We got wallet size. We got everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all part
Make
of the
it a
service.
magnet.
Make it
Yeah.
a magnet. Make it a T-shirt. Make it a pillow. We do it all.
Yeah. I like this. I think, and I also think that some of it, a very small or sliver of it, can work in the real world. not just talk town.
Well, I think it's such a core idea for what you guys do to make a society that what it should be.
Yes.
Right. When you talk about it's like such core justice stuff that like bad people should get bad things.
Yes.
You know,
because I think people would, if this was happening all the time, you would take a beat before like losing your shit on someone.
Yeah,
totally.
Or being mean.
Also,
are you
public
getting?
reviews, comment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, public
It would make
comment.
social media. It would make a digital space a lot kinder because you're like, man, I could hire a hitman. I could find out who you actually are,
Yeah.
Right.
quickly.
Quick.
But the big problem in society is there's a lot of people doing bad stuff that's not illegal. You know, like when I drive into the city, people cut me off so bad, or they go past the whole line. I go,
Yeah.
you follow that guy.
Oh, yeah.
You throw
Yeah.
an egg in his car. You know what I mean? And then, well,
With
I'll
a few
feel okay
bolts
about
on it?
this.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
for the
Well,
pie
yeah.
industry alone, they'd be like, this
Oh my
is
God.
huge.
Yeah, yeah.
We'd be rehabilitating the just the crumbling pie industry.
You call a pie place, you're like, hey, man, I need 30 pies for my wedding. And they're like, oh, we primarily do vengeance pies. They're not really for eating. I just want to let you know.
There
you
would
wanna
be
call-
whole bakeries that are set up just for these pies.
So
Yeah.
funny when
We
they-
can spend a lot of time on the recipe.
Yeah, we do mainly cum pies. This is,
We got 4 guys back here who are working so hard.
yeah. We don't know what kind of wedding you're having, but I mean, yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
That's fun.
man. Where are we at in
it?
time, Lex?
Oh, I do have a question.
31.
Oh, wow.
Who are the people that you would get? Who deserves vengeance? For me, it's traffic people.
traffic people's a very good one.
Traffic people being people who cut you off or people who are directing traffic.
Bad.
Traffic people's tough because I'm usually on the other side of the coin. So I got a lot of empathy.
You're sneaking
You're
up to
not.
the end and being like, "Oh, I didn't know I had to get into this
I'm
lane at the
pregnant.
last minute."
I'm pregnant.
Before I put this on, I was like, you're not, because you have improved as a driver, but you were always just kind of bad at driving.
Yeah, I'm just a bad
You're
driver.
not a fucking BMW
No,
asshole.
no.
Those are the people who need to get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Not the guy who
I
I,
see
just
what
see
you're saying.
swerving halfway in. I go, I love that guy. I go, he
I'm a
doesn't even
drifter.
know.
I'm
Yeah.
a drifter. I'm a car that goes, what are you guys eating over there?
Yeah, I think it's
What is that, a duck?
incompetence is much more forgivable than willful
Yes.
Yeah.
antagonism.
You have to
I'm a
drive.
curious
Yeah.
driver.
He's just not good at it. You know,
Yeah.
I feel bad. It's like, he's got to be doing it. We got to accept this guy. You know what I mean?
It's the people who drive like they're the most important person on the road.
Yeah.
That's who deserves it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. I don't like an intimidator behind me when I'm driving.
Driving up my ass, right?
Oh, I go very. We're gonna reverse intimidate that.
Totally.
shit.
I do the
if
same
someone
thing.
like you blink your lights at me when I'm going 10 over the speed limit,
I'm
anyway,
slowing
like,
down.
You're getting the real Cheech and Chong level driving here. You are gonna be. I'm gonna grind you to a halt.
Yep.
You don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to wear you down.
Yeah.
I'm like an old Spurs team.
Dude,
Yeah. I'm gonna move the ball.
Yeah. I'm at the point now where I'm like, I'm going to slam on the gas. You're going to hit me. I'm going to pretend I'm hurt. I'm going to get a GoFundMe going to my page. I'm going to make $100,000 off this.
Yeah. You're putting on a neck brace as he's veering closer and closer.
It's in the passenger seat at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a wrestler signaling he's going for the finishing move. You just hold out the neck brace, like, do you want it? It's about to happen.
Yeah, man. I'll bleed myself on this on this car ride.
So
Tell
that's-
you I hit my head.
That's your big one is drivers.
Drivers for sure.
This is
I
a
got
great
one.
question to
Bad
go
road
round
rage.
robin, man.
I got one. I was working at a coffee shop upstairs, and I was the only person up there for a little while. And a guy came up and looked around, saw me, but saw there was no one else, and then took a long call on speakerphone.
Oh my God.
Oh, so he viewed you as not even
He's
there.
like, "Oh, I could do this. Who cares that?" And it's like, it's quiet here. That's why I came up here. Like,
Yeah.
no speakerphone in public in general.
100%.
Unless you're over a certain age.
Yes.
Or
No, this
Greek
guy was-
of any age.
Yeah.
No, this guy was like 35.
No,
like,
that's
unacceptable.
despicable.
like just taking like the
Unacceptable.
most annoying options stocks, like just
Oh.
nonsense. Like I just sat down and was like casually doing it, and it's like that's not what this is, and you know that's not what this
No,
is.
there's a level of urgency where you're allowed a phone call wherever. But like I was in an airport and there was a guy taking a shit, which that's allowed, but he was doing it where he's supposed to, and he was on the phone and very loud, and he was just talking about Beyonce when she dropped like a surprise album, and I'm like, this is not for here. This
Yep.
is if you're on a bathroom call, it should be like cut the red wire. It should be like
so
urgent in a way where it's like, no, you don't just small talk in this place.
No.
And also it's like same shit happens on the subway where it's like, how do they get only the worst phone calls get the signal underneath to call?
Yes.
And it's just like the most meaningless bullshit from people who are blind to the fact that they're part of a society.
Yes, I think it's like speakerphone calls that are kind of like could easily have been pushed, or you could have been like, let me just go somewhere private. Like any of that, like that to me, I'm just like, you don't care. It's like comes back to the drivers who are like, I'm the most important person here.
Yes, that is
These are
such a
like,
key.
I'm the most important person here. Like clearly you guys don't matter about what the sound is like. And it's like the sound of speakerphone is so annoying.
Yeah.
I have a culture law I want to bring in.
Hit it.
Now, I think in America, we're moving past of like stereotypes for people to do. We're like masculinity, blah, blah, blah. I kind of want to bring a little bit of that back. And what I say with that is this. If you are the biggest man in the room, I think, and someone is out here, like I was at this coffee shop and this guy was watching someone play Fortnite on his phone, just shooting. I think as the biggest man in the room, everyone can vote and be like, hey, you need to speak to him. Right? Everyone goes, you're the biggest guy. You need to tell that guy to turn that off. You need to be the justice in the room.
Well, I think we pay, and our tax dollars go to that.
Yeah.
And this is called the burden of genetics. I'm calling
I
this.
love this.
Tallest man in the room, you got to reach stuff.
Yeah.
Shortest person there, you got to look under stuff. Our tax dollars go to the burden of genetics.
Yes.
Yeah, they don't have to fight the guy, but they have to be the guy who's like, hey, man, can you turn that off?
Yeah.
And I would say if you're in a setting, I like the tax dollars, but I think if you're in a restaurant, the restaurant, money goes to that restaurant that goes, hey, his coffee's on us today.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
The
so
meal's
tax
free.
dollars
Yeah.
things
Well,
doesn't work out, actually.
Yeah.
Well,
That-
the tax dollars go to the company.
okay, yeah. That,
Okay,
okay,
sure.
They
that
have to
works.
supply socks,
Yes.
underwear,
Oh, yeah, socks, underwear, and t-shirts, and everything
And rent.
needs to have one pair of socks, underwear, and t-shirts for purchase in an emergency.
Yeah.
And if someone goes, I call upon the burden of genetics.
Yes.
And then that person, and then the whatever
should be a reward.
establishment is.
Yes.
Yeah. They handle the work that they've
That's
just
fun.
done.
We haven't had a call out in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll
Public
do
decree.
I'll do that with like physical space in that like if someone who seems like, you know, an older person or a vulnerable person on the subway is getting crowded, I will like block them or like coming in and out of the doors on the plane. If someone's like running down the aisle, I'm getting up.
Oh, I'm
and,
blocking.
Yeah, I'm getting up, blocking, and I'm looking you in the eye for a minute to be like, you in a hurry, you know, like what's
the
up?
same thing.
Yeah.
I think it's the burden of genetics.
It is,
Yeah,
but it
you're
is
the
like,
big guy.
The burden of genetics.
Yeah.
We've already doing this a little bit.
but I think now everyone's so in the real world, everyone's so afraid of like when you are that person, what's this maniac gonna do to me?
Sure.
Because I feel like we've seen a lot of videos of like, you know, somebody sprinting down the aisle and you see somebody finally says something and that guy just like loses their shit on him and it's like, oh, I don't want to have to be attacked.
Yeah, you get 2 coffees if they attack you. I also want to say this. So someone could call out, I call the burden of genetics, but then someone else can call the I got this. Like if you were a little girl with rage, you
Sure.
can be like, actually, I got to get this. I got this.
Yeah.
And then she can go up there like, you fucking motherfucker.
Yeah.
You
That's
drove
nice.
me the most crazy.
Yeah. I love burden of genetics and I got this.
Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
perfect.
So wait,
Yeah.
Kev, going back, what's your
Oh, yes.
big, speakerphone drivers? What's
I
your
mean,
big,
Libby hit a lot of it here,
Yeah.
where it is just like I think the most consistently aggravating thing to me is people who with their actions show you that they consider themselves better than
Yes.
all of you. You know,
In
that
general.
they have the most important time, all the audio space around them is theirs. I think a big thing for me is I would like to bring back shame in general, like that people should be ashamed of themselves more. And this is like a cousin of a lot of this idea.
Yes.
But like when you do something that is despicable, like you should feel bad about it.
Yes.
You know, so people who don't feel shame aggravate.
a way to make
there
them
a
feel
way?
shame? Yeah.
To incorporate T-shirts that the more you do things, the more like kind of like a
like a
list,
mood ring.
No, like a list of dates on the back of a band shirt. But these are the things you've done that have pissed people off. Oh, that's like you have to wear the shame shirt, and it
Sort
says
of a resume, a rolling resume
Yes.
that you can't get out from underneath of.
cut people off in traffic, doesn't hold the door. I'm just a rude bartender.
Like
That's
a-
another thing I'd like
Like
to
a
shit to.
scarlet letter? of
Like a
sorts?
scarlet weather
Scarlet letter.
and a band shirt too.
Yeah.
I like in the front. You can have whatever.
I guess people also people who act like you're an inconvenience, and this goes back to you getting the pills a little bit. People who act like you're an inconvenience for causing them to do their job. That is the
fucking
only thing that
job.
exists. That I had a mailman here in Astoria who buzzed my door, and he just told me, "You got too much mail, man." You got too much mail. And I was like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
It's your fucking,
Yeah.
I don't know what to, you
Lucky
got the
day,
wrong
you.
industry.
Yeah.
If this
Yeah.
is a beef for you, every day must be a nightmare for you. You know? Like if you were going around being like, more mail for the person, it's like, that's why you're here. It's not me doing this to you.
Too
Also,
much
I'm not
mail?
mailing myself stuff. This is
Right.
someone else is making this decision. It's coming to me.
So I can diagnose this.
Yeah.
And I have a deep theory on this because I believe I have this disease in me, but it went the right way. So some of these people have the I need to be talking disease,
Yeah.
but instead of having enough bravery to go friendly, they go rude. Right? Because they go, I want to be talking. So then they're like, you can't. And then they hold it in. They go, you can't rollerblade in this town.
Yeah.
It's like, you just need to be, why don't you just talk to me?
Yeah.
Because I know you need attention. But instead, you're going angry when you could go love. And so I don't know how to save that. But
Absolutely.
those people are,
There are people who just socially, all they have is like a complaint. Like
Yes.
I have to keep speaking out of my own social anxiety.
Yeah.
But I have to be like picking on someone else and, like asking pointed questions about them. And,
Right.
That kind of shit.
just tell me
Right.
you need to talk. I'll talk to you. I'll spend the whole afternoon with you. But they have nothing to talk about but complaining because their brain got wired that way. You got to rewire your brain to give compliments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have most of the tools already. You just don't know it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony, what was yours?
Sometimes Julia gets upset when I want to tape a basketball game, and then she has to tape it for me.
Wait, what?
What?
First of all,
That's my number one complaint.
let me just break. Let me just.
I'm sorry.
If you don't mind, let me just say a few things
Please.
here. One, we live in a society with streaming, so I don't understand who's taping anything.
Love hearing about taping.
TiVo. Two, who's taping? What is she taping? None of this makes sense. This is a
Sitting in the
1993 complaint.
Well, I can't download because my phone is so old. I can't download any new apps of things. So I don't have any of the streaming devices on my phone because they keep updating their stuff, right? Sometimes I will leave the house to go to a show, but I will forget to record something I want to watch for later. Usually it's a basketball game, which
on
happens
your phone?
live. No, on my TV at home.
What are you?
Like a DVR.
Like a DVR.
DVR?
Yeah.
DVRs still. I thought DVRs were done. I didn't know they were still doing DVRs.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm doing DVR hard.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
doing. I never watch anything live.
No, but
I
I
like
do.
to. I
Everything
just
is
never
streamed.
works out.
Everything to me. I'm sorry. I'm
Live sports.
Yeah.
It's
It
not
is the one thing that
Yeah.
doesn't quite fit with the streaming
right.
model
Or
yet.
if you, Oh, I guess Bravo is now on Peacock.
So next day.
So next day, but sports for the most part aren't. You got to catch it live.
So you're saying like a game starts at 7, you're at a show that's at 8, you're not going to get home until 10. You want to watch that game when you get home.
And usually I have to
versus like a next day
so,
or a
and so you want to pay
Exactly.
someone to slap Julia for this reason?
I don't want them to slap Julia. You asked what annoys me. I'm
it
generally
was what-
walking around through life not too annoyed.
No, we were talking about who would you pay the hitman
pay
for?
to get the hitman?
Oh no, not my wife.
That's what you
Yeah,
just said.
This would be a Pandora's box of problems for me. This would get back to me very fast. No, this would be a big issue for me.
Yeah, of course.
I see what you're saying.
You can't pay someone to hit your wife.
This is how
If she's a female, you can.
You could, but
I can
I
hit
am
Julia
not.
for you.
If you don't think this would be her
Allison can
first guess,
Yeah.
this would be a problem. I thought we were talking about the genre of people in general who annoy you the most. Oh, so I guess this does go back to Julia. This was just a problem.
hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
having.
not hitting the threshold for this. You're not hiring
I
out
see
on
it.
this.
Yeah, I see now.
And also, that's why I
So
like.
I'll say people who, when I want a DVR,
Yeah.
Whatever people are at home that I have to call.
But I love the idea, though. I don't know, because you say this about Julia, right? You say she's going to know it's you. Not necessarily, right? Because that's why you have no, I just have a bunch of really good friends who saw you do that shit, right? Let me say it's you, me, Julia's in the house, right? Julia says something wild to you.
Yeah.
She can't do anything to me. So I just go, hey, Julia, watch this. 1-800-SLAP a hoe.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, can you slap my boy's wife? No refunds, right?
Ludacris
they
shows
can't,
up.
whatever. Someone comes, slaps her, then she's calling, slap my friend's friend. Now we got a
Hilarious.
thing where we're continually paying people to slap each other. But you are out.
Yeah,
You're not
I'm
even
out.
involved.
I'm in the house.
Why would you be?
I've
Yeah.
left. This is such a mess for me. It's so uncomfortable. I've left long ago. Now I have to watch the game I wanted at a bar.
Thousands of dollars have gone back and forth
This is-
between like 12 people.
It's me and a 6'3" woman and her and a 6'3" man just going again, and just giving the guy
Man,
cash.
can you slap my boy's wife is such a Duolingo advanced level. Like, what are we saying in Spanish now? It's just like, does this have any real world application? Can you slap my boy's wife?
And at some point you forget why the whole thing even started.
Yeah. And that's marriage.
At some point, yeah.
Okay.
After round one, you'd be like, what is this about again?
I will say this. I'll throw this scenario at you, and you tell me the appropriate small claims court hitman response to this. Now, my mom is out of work. This is all, the people that are out there in the world I don't know really aren't annoying me too much. I mean, they are on a political level. We're not going to get too into that.
Sure.
Okay.
But mainly it's my inner circle.
Yeah.
That's really irritates me. My mom, I've given her, she's out of work, so I give her money every month to pay for, it's quite a bit of money,
Sure.
And I'm like, this is your food budget for the month. Now she spends, the other night, I ordered Chinese food for Julia and myself, and this is a more high-end Chinese place, so we're splurging a little bit. It's $45. Your typical
That's
Chinese
actually really
place,
good.
Chinese, yeah. Okay.
Well, what did you get?
I got chicken and broccoli, and then Julia. No, I got beef and broccoli, and then Julia got.
Just make something up. Doesn't matter.
We're talking a 2 entree, $45.
Yeah. I'm just trying to say how much money, how much food did you get?
Yeah.
There was a little bit of it.
How many Rangoons?
We had no Rangoons.
Yeah.
It was
No
a
app?
2
You
entree.
you went no snacks.
We went no snacks. It's
crazy.
It was a 2 entree. It was about $45.
That's kind of expensive, yeah.
But it's good. It's really good Chinese.
Yeah, I
It's
get it.
not. You know what I mean?
It's around here?
Yeah. I think Malala's.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's
Now,
not
she
Malala's.
won a big award.
That's a nice Arabic woman. Yeah, that's it.
She opened a Chinese place. That was her next move after getting the Nobel Peace Prize.
I
She had two
survived
passions.
being assassinated by Al Qaeda.
Peace and General Tso's chicken.
Yeah.
But anyway,
hero.
that was a dinner for 2. My mom was one person. The other night she spent $140 on Chinese food, and she's on a tight budget. And I'm pretty mad because now I've taped a special. I got slow work in the summer. I'm on a shoestring a little bit here for a couple months until a lawsuit maybe comes in, which I have not seen. We're not seeing that money if we do for like another 8 months.
Back on track.
I'm getting there. This is all pertinent information. So what do we do with my mom in this situation where she's being, go ahead.
So I hate to say it,
Please.
but what's good about this society is that we already have things in place before it gets to hitman. For your mother, we would already have hired the personal assistant,
The assistant.
to be getting her to
Who's
not
managing.
to be like, hey,
Oh, I see. It
that's
doesn't
too
even
much
get there.
money.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
then let's say she tells him to get out of here, and she still does it.
Smaller claims court.
Someone pull her hair. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can say like, what are you doing? You can't spend this kind of money. It's your son. But I would argue go with the personal assistant first.
Yeah, I think that's a move.
Yeah.
It doesn't even get there because the personal
Right.
assistant. God, I would love if I paid this
I
personal
know.
assistant. It'd be so worth its weight in gold for budgeting purposes.
I'm kind of willing to do it.
It'd be a full-time job.
Yeah, it's a full time job. And you
Yeah,
already got
but
2 kids.
guess what's not a full-time job for me? Comedy. My life's in shambles. Dude, and plus I'm already
pay
raising
100
my
a week.
kids. I could raise your mom.
I'd pay what would be your
Raise
rate
my
for something
mom.
like this?
It's an MTV show.
Oh, man, what is
We
so
could
good.
work it out. Whereas if it's like if it's a dinner thing, you add on a dinner for me and a couple bucks, right? If it's like, hey man, I got to order Chinese food for my mom. Can you do it? I go, sure, but let me get some spare rib tips as well, right? Easy.
That's
right?
coming in under 140.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a
I mean,
profit.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
and
you're
then-
still saving
And
money.
then
Yeah.
you
You're
saw
still
what
saving
happened
money.
in last week's episode where she now
Yeah.
wanted to get her nails done. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
these are Ubers I'm paying for, which I'm fine with, but then now I'm also paying for. It's like, lady, no.
So
Just
yeah.
nothing here.
So we're here. Instead of you answering the phone, you hand the phone to me.
Okay.
And I go, hey, what's up? It's it's Greg. What do we need Anthony for? Uber. I got you. Stay there. We'll have it called for you.
Right.
Or not.
Yeah.
Or not.
Right.
I would say in that situation, I would say you don't tip the Uber driver. You just tip me.
That's going to be Greg's solution for a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Because here's the thing. Instead of money going to that guy, here's the deal. Let me blow your mind with this. It comes to me.
I'm the cutoff man.
Yeah, he's the cutoff man.
Wow.
And that ball's not getting home. That's staying in the infield.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I would do that for different things. My services can always be for trades. If you're like, I'll do this, I'll get you some Nikes.
Oh, trades. Yeah.
I like trades.
Yeah,
I don't need
you
I like
work in a
trades.
trade business.
I like
you
trades.
love bartering.
Yeah.
I love a barter. I love a good trade. Yeah, I would do that.
All right.
Or you just get me health insurance.
That's gonna be
That's way more expensive.
order, man.
Give me health insurance, but I'll do a really good job.
That's a good ask.
Sure,
though.
but that's a lot
Yeah.
of phone
Yeah,
calls.
gotta ask.
Yeah. I
went
Otherwise,
for it.
yeah.
I really went for
Those
it,
are
man.
forms. All right, I think we gotta go.
Time's it.
1:33.
All right, so we can do our little wrap up.
Yeah. 10-minute wrap-up spiel. Is there anything else people want to get off their chest before we get out of here? Things you wanted to bring up?
One little thing I did want to bring up. If
Please.
if that's okay before I forget.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I got my stuff for the next time we talk. Great.
Great.
Well, this isn't a thing. This is one little thing. And I didn't even, I was watching this comic and he was like so homophobic about dick, but then went like, he was like, I don't want to deal with this. Is nothing to do with anything. I just want to say it out loud. But then he just talked on stage about how he loved feet. And I was like, it's crazy you're so afraid of dick.
Sure.
Yeah.
But feet are so
feet?
much more gross
Yeah.
than dick.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, what is that? That's
Less
it.
upside with a foot, I think.
Less upside.
Way
know?
less upside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Only downside.
Only downside.
I think feet are weirder than dick.
Yeah.
I'm not walking on my dick all day.
Exactly.
You know?
That's not what I heard.
There's athlete's foot, not athlete's dick. You know what I mean? Athlete's foot is disgusting.
Well, there are a lot of diseases that dicks can get to.
Dicks can be famously diseased,
Yes.
but they, you know,
The
you can
inside
have
of them.
Yeah.
It ruined the 80s.
Yeah.
Dicks ruined the 80s.
There's pills for that
Man,
now.
talk about you, Ronald Reagan. Just the very homophobic comic reminded me of this. I had the most Florida weekend, a couple weekends in a row in Florida, and the first weekend the MC was like very sweet to me. From like, he used to watch like dumb cable shows I was on. It was like very honored to meet me and stuff.
Every now and again, I'll see those in the background. World's Dumbest.
Yeah.
And then, Kevin's
yeah.
face.
Never stops rerunning, baby.
Yeah.
And then
Non-union, so no residuals.
no, this
Yeah,
is
that's
$6.50
nice.
an episode, 200 of
Incredible.
those. You know.
Yeah, they're like, we could show this all day, every day. It costs us nothing.
The last one we recorded was 2014.
Yeah, and I still see them.
Yes,
Yeah.
and people who come out to shows, they either come out for me for like either from TikTok or from that, and it's like two very different crowds, and I look very different than I looked in 2014.
You got to pay someone to slap the guy who made that deal. That's truly like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fucked up, man.
Oh, they were, yeah. So anyway, this guy was like very nice to me, and then his stand up was like so transphobic. It's like, this is the first time I'm gonna have to ask that this guy, I will not work with this
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah.
You know, like if I'm here at this club, this guy can't be. And then the next week in Florida, first night, the MC is a 70-year-old trans woman, and this tells you how, you know, she's been conditioned. But she's like, if you do anything homophobic, that's fine. I'm cool. And I was like, let me tell you how not that's my jam.
Yeah.
That's English. I'm like, I last week in this same chain of clubs, there was a guy who did this. He's out. I'm not working with him. The trans woman like went outside and like was clearly like emotional about it. Went outside, bombed. The next night, performed as a dude and did a transphobic joke. And I'm like, I'm gonna kill myself.
Wait, I don't
Like,
understand.
this is. I don't understand.
That
person
rules.
switched.
That's
I
crazy.
have photos.
I agree.
I
I
was
don't-
sending
I
it
don't
to my
doubt you.
wife like, I'm going to kill myself. We had this emotional thing, and then the trans comic
yeah.
performed as a woman the first night. The second night, performed as a guy and did a joke that was like, how do we feel about men and women's sports in fucking Fort Myers, Florida? And can you guess how the crowd felt about it? And like, I'm just like, you're doing the transphobic
Jesus.
stuff? What the fuck?
I gotta say, I like this. Let me tell you why.
Look, it was spicy.
Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Because if you're committing to becoming someone else, I love that it's like, oh, not only am I a man, I'm also a homophobic man.
I'm a terrible man.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's kind
what
of
a-
performance arty. Real
Yeah.
Netflix
You know what I mean?
is the characters we have going on.
When I'm a woman, I am the most lovable, open-minded person, but dickhead man Greg, he's a real problem.
I'm happy it went well the second night. That's a terrible fate.
Oh,
If
it
you
went
bomb
worse.
again, you're like, I'm running out of genders. You know? Bomb is everybody. Fuck.
Yeah, showing-
Nothing I can do up here. I guess I'll try cat and see how that goes next weekend. But
Imagine that dilemma you must have. You know what I mean? Of like, I
Aye.
only do well as the thing I'm not, being the person I hate.
God,
That's way worse
Yeah,
than
there's
so
definitely
sad.
comics that
that's like
are
a folk
that.
song.
Yeah.
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 Jesus.
Yeah. So stop that, society.
Yeah, it's all crazy, man.
Stop
That's
being
not
all
really,
of that.
well, that's not really what we do in Talktown. We're more in our restaurants.
Yeah,
and,
we're like, how do you share fries better?
yeah, small claims vengeance stuff is really what we're after over here.
Yeah, it is mostly vengeance at restaurants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that'll solve most of it.
It's most of being alive.
You know?
Yeah, man, you do what you can.
Yeah.
You know, it's take care of your small parcel.
Yeah.
And if everyone does that, we'd be okay.
Yeah. Well,
I know. I got nothing left.
Oh, yeah. I'm good, man.
yeah, we
It was
really.
great.
I'm just hungry.
Thank you for having me, kids.
Of course.
Oh my
This is
God!
great
Thank
seeing
you for
again.
coming and doing
Yeah.
the pod.
Kev, plug
Now that I don't live in
away.
Astoria anymore, I got to find a way to see you. So I guess this will
Yeah.
be it.
I know.
Oh, that's it for the year. This was 2.
Yeah, well, yeah. I
think
got
we
my
got-
sober one next. We got Donnelly's birthday coming up.
Yeah, see you Wednesday for that, I guess. Yeah.
That's this Wednesday.
I think so.
Great,
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thrice in a week.
Wow, this is awesome.
Go to patreon.com/welcome to Talktown. Subscribe. Even if you don't watch the episodes, just throw some money because it's your money that keeps this thing going. If you're not paying for it and you're getting it for free, I get it. You're broke. We're all broke. We're drowning out here, guys. No, I'm kidding. Join it. There's a lot of really
Yeah,
great
we are.
episodes on there.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. And also, you want to buy an ad. We'll advertise your thing here, and or
Well, yeah.
$100
Buy a
you could be on the
slap.
podcast.
Because the Patreon pays for this.
Yeah.
The studio rental, it pays for all this stuff. So if
Yeah.
you sign up for the Patreon, you really are funding the podcast.
You could just give $1.
Otherwise, we're losing money.
We
We're
are.
having a great time, but we're losing money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do that, it's like an even exchange.
That feels fair.
Actually, yeah.
Great. All right.
I never thought about Patreon that way.
It's
It's kind of the
when you
entire
break it
model.
down.
Actually, works.
It is. They'll tell you.
All right. We'll see you later.
Have a great
Bye.
week. Bye.